six treasures. These are the different topics. So he explains, this master explains in 15, 16 topics what exactly, how to define the viveka, and then what is the impact of the viveka in the mind. So what happens when the viveka is always there? That viveka is always there means that I'm into that field of awareness. Viveka simply means that now I know real self and the unreal. Last time we did it and I told you. So now viveka is there. Come on, this is false. Light is still there. Like that is the meaning what you are talking about. That is the meaning that what is the meaning? That is the meaning that now I'm aware. Or there is a lack of awareness. I'm aware or I'm not aware. I was just talking before this session. We normally say that sun rises in the morning, sun sets in the evening. But the fact is that sun never sets. Sun never rises. Now compare this with the pure consciousness, which is real self, and the reflected consciousness, that is the mind. So when I compare myself with the mind or reflected consciousness, then definitely the sun rises in a waking state and the sun sets in the sleeping state. But still that consciousness, that pure consciousness remains one. It never rises. It never sets. That is one way to understand. The other way to understand that when we do the viveka, what sets and what rises, then I recognize it is the mind. Along with the body, all the three bodies. In a waking state, or almost all the three bodies are awake because I get upset because of the past impression, etc. In the dream state, I sleep to the body, so it means that mind is setting to the body, but mind is still awake in the itself. And in the sleep, all the three bodies are setting. And so when the mind keeps that identification, that causes the delusion and the ignorance. Now I'm taking you to another level. That what is that level? Yes. I'm repeating the same thing what we did in just for one point. Last time I think I also discussed about it. When we do not have a doubt, means we have 100% conviction. Where the conviction lives, it lives in the intellect. I don't have any doubt who is my honey. I don't have any doubt where is my home, what is my car. I don't have any doubt. Conviction is there. So what happens that when we do not have a conviction, I am consciousness, there I lose awareness. Yes. I'm just trying to present in a different way. So why the teacher goes on talking and talking and talking and using the different principles to help our mind to even remove point after point or decimal after decimal, 1% of the doubt is also gone. Now intellect has 100% conviction. Now then I ask you, what do you see? I see the light reflecting the hand. Conviction is there. Conviction is there. I think that topic I covered started with the right one.
Yes.
Yes. I see the honey being reflected in the presence of the consciousness. Now compare this. Compare this with the three statements. Now I'm reversing this statement. Mind knows the real self indirectly. I'm reversing the statement. Mind knows the real self directly. What do you mean? First, you said that the mind knows the world directly. So, a lot of contemplation gave rise to an understanding and a cognitive ability, my friend. When I see you through the sense organ. I see you through the mind. The mind and the sense organ comes between you and me. So the mind knows you indirectly. How dare you say that it sees you directly?
Yeah. But we
So,
have no chance to see directly.
so it means when the mind is not there, when the sense organ is not there, consciousness is still there. So now we have to correct that understanding that mind knows the real self directly.
But in deep sleep, my
Yes.
sensor switch off, mind is switch off, but consciousness present.
Yes, and the mind is not present. The consciousness does not need to see anything. It does not need to any. Does not. So that is why it uses the mind to see the world indirectly. So mind sleeps, but the consciousness remains awake as the sun never rises and the sun never sets. But it does not have the instrument of the mind not available to be reflected on. Hence, I don't make a difference that you are there and I'm here. That is where I said complete ignorance is bliss. It's a complete ignorance. So the complete knowledge is also bliss. So complete ignorance means a deep sleep, total unconscious, habitual life guided by the tamas guna. Oh, so even when I'm awake, I'm living a life. Now see how the masters uses this model. Take it as a model. Don't overstress. Why we take it as a model? To remove the doubt, wrong interpretation by the mind, to have the right cognitive ability. What is that? Consciousness alone is the reality. I'm the real self. Do you see? You have studied 5 years of 5 years course of engineering.
Yes.
Mhm. So look at our
So
masters that how delicately they take us by changing the statement by different models to see that consciousness is Satchidanand. It is consciousness is the knowledge. Mind has to receive the knowledge and retain the knowledge.
but consciousness don't need any knowledge because it itself knowledge. So when I look at you through the mind, if I switch off the mind and switch off the sense organ, so no,
Mind knows the world indirectly through itself and through the sense organ. So mind contains lot of challenges, what is known as the impurity. distractions, the restlessness. That is why we want to purify the mind. That is why we need to introduce another model of seeing the reality. What is that model? Real, false, and unreal. So the mind awakens. Oh, what you are saying is a false. What is false that exists between the real and the unreal? Yes, I do see that. There is so I have clearly defined, the masters have clearly defined what is real, which is unchanging. We have already done 8 attributes, 8 characteristics of the real self. Independent, it is not the part, product, and property of anything. It is independent, it is the ultimate cause. But I see from that perspective, this body is constantly changing. Breath is changing, mind is changing, thoughts are changing. So, what is that changing? It appears real, but it is not real because it is changing. It will change its shape and the color and the form. I did not have even a single white hair at the time of my birth, but now I have this long beard. Mind in ignorance claims that this, oh, have you seen that guy with the beard? So I made it a permanent in my delusion. Oh, do you see that? Oh, that girl? But that girl is my honey. The mind has to remove these impurities. So, mind knows the mind, instead of saying the mind knows the real self directly, that's why we use the mind illumines the real self. You rightly said and you rightly understood. I appreciate what I appreciate. Consciousness itself is a knowledge, does not need to know anything. So that is why I say the mind illumines the real self. What a big deal. Consciousness does not want to know. So what is that state? That mind now, what happens to the mind now? Can I use another statement early before we go to the topic, 15 topics on fourfold? That mind merges into the conscious. That is the meaning the mind illumines the real. I don't think, and still consciousness directly goes to you. What it perceives? Consciousness. Same example, same metaphor. The moment it says your name, your gender, your age, mind has interfered. Mind has already interfered. So I think long back, 3 years ago, or maybe 4, or maybe in the beginning, I said you see without name. Sense organ, my eyes do not know your name. My ears do not recognize the name of a particular, voice of a particular name and the form. My mind gives the interpretation after listening a sound. Oh, this may be a male voice and a female voice. Oh, this is what the voice is. So the recognition is done by the mind. So the mind wants to know everything indirectly through its own interpretation. That is the biggest problem. Mind claims I am the doer, I am the knower. Mind claims. And that is where the statement of the French philosopher goes false. I think, therefore I am. No, I am. Who is this I am? I am consciousness. Therefore, I use the mind as an instrument to think, to recognize who you are. So, in that context, we are saying mind illumines the real self, or mind knows the real self. Indirectly, that is also correct. So, when we maintain that awareness, mind knows the real self indirectly. How come? Because mind does not have a consciousness. So, that is why Krishna says it is a royal secret. And why it is an open secret? Because only seeker can know it. You have to work on our mind. Show me where is the real self. We don't answer those people. We don't. We need not to answer. One girl, a month ago, she said, I need your help. She told me that, she is known to me for 20 years from India. She wrote me again and I said I will not respond. Why I do not respond? She raises the same problem again and again. She claims that she has understood. She does not understand and she goes back. This time I'm not responding. Her 4 messages have come. Now in the 5th message, I don't understand what the heck with you that you do not respond my message. For the consciousness, nothing happens. For the mind, it is a bit, oh, I should react. I should explain to her that you are doing the same stuff again and again. That's why I'm not responding. But question, even if I write that message, it does not make a difference to her. So what should I do? Consciousness. I need not to respond. As if I did not receive. It is a false statement. So I recognize the falsity in her statement, in her message. And when I read that message, I had a bigger smile. And mine said, now she is going to react again. Let her react. What maximum she will say that you are crazy? Yes, I'm crazy. What is this? This is Viveka. I'm laying a foundation from the 16 to 31. So it is not the Viveka we talk philosophically, real, false, and the unreal. We discern, we separate inside with that knowledge what is real and the false. We see the mirage water, we understand. We see the blueness of the sky, we understand. We see the earth is stationary, we understand. But it is too far. We have to bring that Viveka very near to us. I look at the honey, false. I recognize the false. Then I look at the body, false. I look at unwanted, unwelcome thought. Mind is a false. What I have to talk about, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts are coming. That is not me. I'm not the doer. I'm done. What the mind says, you are crazy. Thank you. You are very good. Thank you. Why? For me, the mind is an instrument, and the content of the minds are the thoughts and feeling of emotional dependence and the duality and the likes and dislikes. What happens? I have done intense viveka. What is the result of intense viveka? The state of dispassion is there. What is that state of dispassion? What my honey is saying, that does not make any sense. But at the material level, I will respond. So what happens? Now the doer is absent. Why? Because the knowledge is there. So what? Calmness is there. What has to do with the calmness? Calmness is one of the most important treasure. out of the six treasures. So I'm using the mind. Mind is not using me. Huh? Mind is not, yes. 100% sure. I have a surety. 100% conviction is there. So when we say there is a lack of awareness, I'm focusing on that part. So when we say lack of awareness, mind is not convinced. Simply take it easy. Return to the principles in your head. Start doing the viveka. The moment your mind says, now I lost awareness, no worries at all. Take it easy. Don't make it complex. Don't create a sense of duality. Don't feel that, I did this wrong. I did. Doer has come. I did it right. Ego becomes greedy. I have to get rid of this doership, both on the positive and the negative side. Both on the positive and the negative side. I have to get rid of it. Normally, we take it for granted this positive doership. Someone says how good you are, how wonderful you are. Now people say me. I told you that guy. I believe this girl, I gave her 200%. I said, you don't give me even 50%. You should not have attended these sessions. Then he came with his another new girlfriend. Last week, so we offered, he said, no, we don't want to eat. No, I said, whosoever comes to me, I will have to offer the food. That's my commitment. So keep your belly empty. We will prepare the food and then you'll eat. What do you think? I said, I don't think. But I have one question, that why you are changing so many girlfriends? Did you give her 250%? What exactly you are expecting? Is there some impurity present in your mind that you are looking for? So if you are looking for what is that impurity? He asked. I said, you are looking for peace and happiness in the sense of belongingness, in the relationship. Viveka, we are talking. Do you love yourself more than her? Or do you love her more than yourself? That's a difficult question. I said, no, it's not difficult. Well, if you are cheating yourself, then it is a difficult question. And the simple answer, you have left the first girlfriend because you love yourself. Why I claim that you love yourself? Because you don't want to live in stress with her. Because you love yourself, that is why you left her. So first recognize that you love yourself more than anyone in the world. So what it means? You are the love. Then what is this relationship? I said this is attachment. So I recognize what is attachment and what is love. Viveka. What happens? My mind becomes easy. It has nothing to do with 200% or 250%. So that is an emotional dependence. Why we are learning in the topics? Because until this mind gets rid of the emotional dependence, that is the one biggest challenge. We have at a very subtler level of emotional dependence. Those who are very weak, they are non-seekers, they express themselves, they get agitated, they start fighting, they start reacting. It is because of the emotional dependence. That is one sign by the Bill Gates. I lived loveless life for 27 years. I said, I know. Why? So they try to rationalize. What is the second problem? We are understanding Viveka before we go into deeper state. Pay attention. Little subtler, but not very big deal. So I have an emotional dependence. I rationalize in favor of emotional dependence. I lived loveless life for 27 years. So I have rationalized this. So what is the second problem? A irrational argument by the intellect stored in the mind keeps the ignorance intact. So we have two big challenges. Emotional dependence must go. And the fact is that we do practice of meditation only to get rid of this emotional dependence. And you listen to the teacher to get rid of the irrational argument in favor of the emotional dependence. That keeps the ignorance intact. That is why we have these topics. Not very deep, so simple when you listen to it again. So every time my mind makes a statement, I have to check and recheck, re-examine. What is the meaning of re-examine? I'm filtering out what is false and real. Look at the honey. Give me a cup of coffee. She forgets and I am disturbed. What? What? You see now what the mind will say? Think of the intellect. I told you 3 times I was feeling tired. You did not give me a cup of coffee. You don't care me. Now you see, it has come to the emotional dependence. We are not aware. We have lost awareness. We need. Do you see the power of Viveka is so huge? Oh my goodness. We take it very easy. Any thought comes to you, it must pass through the scrutiny of Viveka. Whether it's a simple statement you make in your relationship, in your situation, with your problem, with your pleasure. What it takes. Just being aware and just remember the principle and let this statement, relationship, situation pass through the scrutiny of Viveka. Result is dispassion, and dispassion opens the gateway to sixth treasure. How to think, how to rethink. That's why the master says, power of Viveka, the power of discernment, and suffering. Power of discernment, I would say, power of discernment leads to freedom from emotional dependence. Now, from today, you have to think again and again that we will go deeper, because these 15 topics helps us to. They are focused on these 2 topics, basically. We say fourfold connection: discernment, viveka, vairagya, dispassion, 6 treasures, samdam uparati, samdam uparati, titiksha, shraddha, and mumukshu. Shraddha and samadhan. And the 4th one is mumukshu, the intense desire for awakening. So, unless we recognize the power of discernment is so huge, my friend. I look at the beautiful girl, and the mind says, instinctive mind, what it has to say. It is attracted by so-called the beauty in the in association with the body and in association with the light, not separating. Sensuality is there. Sensuality is there. There is only one beauty, beauty of the consciousness. No beauty is there. How can you say that? Many people like the beauty of the black. So you remove the doubt. Beauty of the black and white, it means beauty is present both in the white and black. Now see that? Beauty in the shape of that girl, the figure, whatever we say, I don't remember, 32, 42, something like this. But the other perceives the beauty in the nose and the eyes. So what do you mean? The beauty is present everywhere in the body? No. Why it is present everywhere in the body? It is the beauty of the consciousness. Come on. It has nothing to do with the beauty of the at the physical level. Beauty of the mind has a preference of likes and dislikes. So I lost my discretion. I stopped thinking. So because of the non-thinking, likes and dislikes are there. Because of the likes and dislikes, attachment is there. Because of the attachment, I keep on thinking. It creates a desire, and desire causes the hesitation or the greed, and the delusion is there. I live my life in delusion.
But correct thinking is that consciousness is inside me, is see consciousness in other person, and because this it looks like beauty.
That is half the process is done. Same example, where the consciousness is, everywhere. Right,
Everywhere.
left, up. So now what
So
I see, yes, now I give you a simple answer. Consciousness is only the existence that manifests in this girl, that manifests in this body, but consciousness alone is true. That the consciousness uh, did comparison. Consciousness created this beard guy and you differently with the likes and dislikes. No. No, not at all. Not at all. It is my mind in delusion sees you are smarter than me. It means that the water creates millions of waves and it does injustice to a couple of waves and it does justice to the other waves. What is the reference point? Now, if the wave is very high, so the water has done a favor. Okay, then suffer from the storm, flood. It is the mental phenomenon. Mind recognizes because of non thinking. Bill Gates is so rich, hence, he should be happy. You see, the very process of the thinking which the mind has been doing since our birth in ignorance. We have to get rid of it. That is why we have to listen to the teacher. And practice we have to do to get rid of the emotional dependence. So why? Because master, this guy, this master explains everything in 538 topics. He goes on from one topic to the other topic to the third. He just wants us to remove that ignorance that since birth we have been carrying. Maybe after, who is my dad? Oh, he is my dad at the age of 5 years. I don't know. What do you mean by dad? What does it mean by mom? Think. Think. So this girlfriend came, she was adopted from Russia here by an American family. And, no, I'm pissed off. I want to know who are my parents, why they thrown me here. I said, tell me 5 benefit. I will give you the result. I have got a very great intuitive power. I will point you out where are your parents. She looked at me. Will you tell me? Yes, yes. I will be happy. I said, your happiness depends on knowing your real parents. How simple it is. She's very intelligent, very wise. She said, no. I said, so you started with a wrong question and you end up with a wrong answer. How do you make it right? I have to find happiness within. She is very wise. I said, this is the journey. Now I have to remove a lot of doubts. Society says they are your parents. So she said, yes. But how come they are my parents? Semen and the egg fertilized. Did they create anything of your body? Tell me. The material came from the world outside. Carbohydrate, protein, amino acids, vitamins. It came from outside. It belongs to the universe. How can you claim that they are your parents? In a specific medium, they laid down the seed to become a tree after 9 months. Why I said to her, emotional dependence. I have to get her out of the emotional dependence by right knowledge. What is this right knowledge? It takes us to Viveka, real and unreal. Every time, all the time. What happens when I look at the honey? I continue to say honey. No issue. But at the same time, I know what the honey means. It is false. I see the boy or the girl or a husband or a wife as a false, but inside I see the consciousness. Again, I'm going back to the same thing. I see the consciousness all pervading. When in the presence of the Viveka, the intellect shines. That intellect illumines the real self. Again, go back to the 3 questions. That is the important. It is extremely powerful. We are understanding how powerful is the discernment. How powerful the Viveka. Viveka alone can help us to reach to the Vairagya, the dispassion. And dispassion naturally takes us to the 6 treasures. And when all the 3 are ready, then we have an intense desire for liberation or the freedom from the limitation. What is that intense desire? Just, one guy was sharing the experiences. So he was saying that my mind was constantly returning to what you said about the consciousness is the absolute reality, and it lost importance over the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts that are entering into the mind, and I was totally absorbed into meditation. So, when we say intense desire, does not mean that I have to work hard. It's again a knowledge practice. First, now you see the delusion part here also. Unwanted thought is coming. I recognize it is an unwanted thought. Why you give value to it? Now I have to remove all the unwanted, unwelcome. Then they are not unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. You have already given a value to it. You want to remove it. You want to fight with it. So non-seeker continues to fight with it and they suffer. So going back to this girl, then she looked at me and she hugged me, and I said, okay, as if the hugging will remove the ignorance. Remove the ignorance. It's very good. But that hugging also does something, it results into at least a momentary conviction. If she continues the discernment, she will recognize. But if she is a non seeker, she will go back to the same stuff. Who are my parents? Everything is all right, what you said, but who are my parents? What is this? Emotional dependence. So, what is happening to the mind? The mind is repeating the same thing again and again and again and expecting a different result. I have told you hundreds of times. So now I become aware of this pattern of the mind. Mind, I'm not going to leave you. So, what is the result? I live in awareness inside, carelessly outside. I take the world lightly. Nothing is happening. I lose money or I earn more money. I have a pain in the body or I get a pleasure. It is the duty to be done, Nitya Karma. So Nitya Karma gets its power in the light, in the wisdom by discernment and dispassion. Because if there is a discernment and dispassion, then there is no doer in the experience. Popping up in the mind, what is this experience? I know you. Thought. You are an object. The first factor is object. Second factor is the thought. Third factor is the perception. How can I say I know you? Perception. Fourth factor, consciousness. Now, changing thought. Changing thought is welcome. What do you mean? See the power of Viveka. Changing, what do you say? My my mind has millions of thoughts, they keep on changing. Yes, that is a blessing to you. What do you mean? They disturb me. No, that is a blessing to you. How come it is a blessing to you? Very subtler level of discernment, my friend. I know you. So I have a one thought, I have an object as you, I have a perception. This is one experience. I know mouse, but if there is no thought is not changing, I cannot say I know the mouse. I don't recognize the mouse. Now mouse is an object. Mouse is an object. Thought of a mouse is there, that is also different. Then the thought I know you. Perception is also different. It's a blessing. I recognize the word easily. So, but if I keep one thought, I know you, so I will also tell mouse, I know you, computer, I know you, I know you. I say to your honey that I know you, and then I say to another girl, I know you, and the honey listens to it and then says, okay, I will tell you now. We don't see incoming influx of the thoughts as an opportunity for the mind to recognize this entire world is based on the existence. We are laying a foundation for those 15 steps to go. That is the power of discernment. And everything, we did not do any practice. Mind is very clear now. Not only clear, but mind is aware. It Now it says it's very easy to have a dispassion, the vairagya. Vairagya is not a practice. I have a lot of thoughts, I will not see anything in the world, or that's why you'll have more problems. Eyes are natural. All the five sense organs opens to the world outside to perceive, to gain experiences, to choose what to choose. I know you, object changes in that statement. Thought is one, perception is different. I know the mouse, thought is different, thought changes, object changes, perception changes. My perception says it's such a small, or are you talking of a live mouse? We decide. Consciousness does not change. That is the special. I know monitor. Monitor is an object. I know monitor is a thought plus the third factor. I have a perception of the monitor plus consciousness. I know you. You are an object. I know you is a thought plus perception plus consciousness. Everything, all the thoughts changes. Thought changes, object changes, perception of the mind changes, consciousness does not. That consciousness is I am. That is real because it never changes. What changes is not me. It cannot be real. Oh, that is why I married 3 times. No, that is wrong. I did not learn from my first experience. One guy who said, oh, you're right, that is why I changed it. So we are very mindful whom to talk what. I did not speak to him then, because why? Then he started explaining, and even in my third relationship, I don't seem to be feeling good. I didn't say anything. He kept on talking for an hour. I said, why you are not responding to me? He said, my mind has totally become blank. I cannot say anything at this moment. Oh, we'll have another session. I said, yes, we'll have another session. You cannot say anything to do. They're non-seekers. They don't want to understand. Their mind is moving in the same direction. They have lost their self-awareness. They are using their intellect. Wrong interpretation. Doesn't mean they don't have an intellect. They are super intelligent. But they are using their intelligence, establishing the false as real. That is why we need a discernment. That is why we need a viveka. So simple. So these 15, 16 topics, then it becomes very easy. We can go very fast with those statements, what the statement he is making. We'll be able to go deeper. So I just summarize. So what happens, these fourfold practices, discernment. Again, when I use the word practices, it is not a practice. It's just a field of awareness. Association. I give value to a particular thought. That given value creates or makes false as a real. So I told this guy, when you gave 200% to that girl, you have given value to someone outside you. That does not make any sense to me. The moment I give value to any object, not the consciousness which recognizes that object, not the consciousness which knows what thought I am using, not the perception. I give more importance to that perception based on my likes and dislikes and duality and a conflict. He is my enemy, she is my friend. She is more beautiful than her. You go on. Our mind instinctively at a very subtler level associates with an object and then it expresses the thought. So, two things: the rational, the doubt must go from the mind. One thing. And doubt has an element of emotional dependence we must examine. For that, we need to practice. To remove that wrong interpretation, we need a knowledge. There's this guy from this girl from the country. She said, in deeper meditation, I saw there is a big eye which is looking at me. Right. I could accept that, but I made it clear. That is why in many texts, many master talks about the third eye. But it has nothing to do with the physical eye. This is a symbolic representation of a knowledge. This pointer, it's a symbolic. How come? Are you aware of your right big toe? Yes, I'm aware of it. Knowledge is there. So should I say that third eye is present there? You have a totally new way of perception. Do you recall the statement, my nose directly or directly? Means I have a new level of perception where I see every object in the world appears to manifest in the presence of the consciousness. We are higher level of viveka. We are consciousness. What appears has to disappear. Has to disappear. I told one guy last week, you see that, who knows, after 20 years, this body will be merged into the earth and the phosphorus, carbon, all the elements were separated. They will help plants to grow. Who knows that you had an idea that you will grow the tomato plants there from in which my material elements of the body is growing, and then your wife becomes pregnant, I will take a birth as your son. This is a fact of life. So this object which appears has to disappear and will reappear in a different form. It is false. This is what we know about the creation. And that is where that perception keeps your mind in the state of wakefulness. You are awake to the world. Yeah, continue doing the work. But the state of the wakefulness continues. Awakening is there.